What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. It's a big week going on for the next stimulus check, the next stimulus package, and states and cities that are announcing new stimulus checks, rental assistance to you guys every single day, as a lot of states and cities are trying to get this money out, get this rent assistance money out to you before the end of the year. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over the Electoral College, which is voting today, and the newest breaking developments on the second stimulus check that we should be expecting the second stimulus package today. I'm going to go over all the details of it in this video. But first, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. My wife and I do all the research for you every single day so we can bring you all the information in a quick, concise video. Okay, first up, what I want to touch on briefly is there's new $1,200 check scams going on through text messaging. The IRS will not text message you. Do not give anybody your bank account information or try not to even respond, anything like that. As we get closer to the checks coming out, the packages passing, and the multiple stimulus packages passing next year, which Joe Biden promises more is coming in January and February, this type of stuff is going to become more and more common. So please try not to fall for this. The IRS will not text you or ask you for your bank account information or your password. So just keep that in mind. Also, it's happening on YouTube. Also, I've had several different times imposters, people trying to imposter me, where they will go and they'll create a new YouTube account, and because again, a YouTube account's free, you can create in 2 seconds, and they'll actually use my name, it's Jimmy, because again, you can use any name on YouTube, and they'll actually take my profile picture on there, and they'll go down and comment below some Bitcoin scams and contact my manager to blah blah blah, whatever it is they're trying to scam you on. That's never me. Anything that comes from me, you'll hear me talk about in the video. Also, when I comment down below, I always have a check mark next to my name because I'm verified with YouTube to have over 100,000 subscribers. You get the check mark when you get over 100,000 subscribers. So if you don't see a check mark next to my name down below, it's probably a scam. And if it sounds weird, it's probably not me. I ban those people from the channel all the time, and I'm very diligent on it. So most of the time they don't stay up very long, but they seem to create new accounts every few days. They're kind of wasting their time on my channel because I ban them so quickly. But this is happening all across YouTube right now. It's a big problem across all different channels in all different niches. So just keep that in mind. Next up, the Electoral College is actually voting today on who to elect for the next president. Let me show you how it works. Federal law sets the Monday after the second Wednesday in December in the presidential election years as the date when the electors meet. The Electoral College delegations will meet in their respective states and the District of Columbia at places they have been designated by their states. They will vote by paper ballot along the lines of the popular vote winner in the state, and then each elector will cast 2 ballots, one for the president and one for the vice president. Those ballots are then tallied, after which the vote is certified in the, quote, certificates of the vote. 6 certificates of ascertainment are paired with the certificates of the vote. 1 is sent to the U.S. Vice President, 2 are sent to the state's Secretary of State, 2 are sent to the Archivist of the U.S., and the final one is sent to the Judge of the U.S. District Court of the district in which the electors met. Those certificates must be delivered by the 4th Wednesday in December, which this year is December 23rd. They will ultimately be brought before Congress on January 6th, which is when Congress will declare the election results. Now, here's the interesting part. Who the electors are. Each state has as many electors as the number of lawmakers in their entire congressional delegations, equaling the total number of the state's House plus its 2 senators. Electors are most typically chosen either by being nominated at a state party or being selected by a state party committee. Here's the interesting part. Is it possible for electors to deviate from the state's results? The answer is yes. Electors can deviate from their respective states' results and vote for somebody besides the presidential candidate who won their states. Those who choose to do so are called, quote, faithless electors. In 2016, 7 electors from the Democratic Party and 1 elector from the GOP, or the Republicans, publicly declared to vote for someone other than their pledged nominee at the Electoral College vote. However, widespread defections are highly unlikely, but it is 2020. And the prospect of there being enough faithless electors to change the outcome in a race is, well, they say virtually impossible, but again, it's 2020. Several states have laws that impose fines or prison sentences for electors who fail to vote by the state's specified rules. So I will keep you updated on this. Of course, Joe Biden is expected to be declared the winner through the Electoral College as he won the popular vote through the states, the popular elector vote, I should say. He did win the popular vote too. But I will keep you updated because, again, this has happened in the past where some electors vote for somebody else. But we are expecting to see Joe Biden be declared the victor through this process. On the second stimulus check and the second stimulus package, let's hear from the bipartisan group, the Problem Solvers, who plan to release their bill today and what will be in it.
Welcome back, everybody. A bipartisan group of Senate and House lawmakers are continuing to work toward a COVID relief package that both sides can hopefully compromise on. Congressman Josh Gottheimer joins us, also Congressman Tom Reed. They're the co-chairs of the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus and have been spearheading these efforts. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican. See if you can figure out which is which. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you. I feel like a little bit of a broken record here saying we are working on a relief bill that both sides can compromise on. Congressman Gottheimer, where do we stand right now?
Well, Becky, good news. I know you thought we wouldn't get there, but we're going to introduce legislation today. Again, this is the package we've been talking about, $908 billion combined, COVID relief emergency package to really address the major needs over the next few months and what are obviously clearly the toughest times right now from the pandemics, from what we're facing the pandemic, and obviously to get us into the next administration. It covers the major pillars we've been talking about, everything from unemployment, helping families, to small businesses, to vaccine deployment, which is obviously critically important right now, to food security and assistance, to helping those families on food lines for the first time, and really to get us through the toughest time. It's bipartisan, bicameral in the Senate and the House, and we'll be doing that later today.
Congressman Reed, when you all say you're introducing this legislation, does that mean it will get a vote on the House floor and on the Senate floor?
Well, that's what we'll have to continue to work for. But what we're showing here with this combined bill of $908 billion, most importantly, is that there's Republican and Democrats that can work out the issues of liability protection that is greatly needed in regards to this emergency situation, and the issue of state and local aid. And that has been the sticky wicket, if you would, that we had to get to the finish line. Now, obviously, there's going to be some disagreement. I believe today you'll see that they're splitting these bills in the Senate. But working with a guy like Josh Gottheimer on the Democratic side, and the Problem Solvers Caucus members themselves, who are sincere, good faith members, I think we found a way to bring that together and hopefully talk to our House colleagues. We'll show we can figure out the final issues on liability in state and local, and also add that so that we get a whole $908 billion deal put together.
Congressman Gottheimer, it sounds like you all can put together a bill that you can find plenty of Democrats and Republicans to agree with. I'd ask, A, how many of those, and how come your leaders can't seem to do the same?
Well, as you know, in the Problem Solvers Caucus, there's 50 of us, 25 Democrats and 25 Republicans in the House. We've been working with a phenomenal group of bipartisan in the Senate. There's definitely momentum here. And I believe we've been in regular touch with leadership on both sides. And we're really hopeful this will be the package that will be part of the final agreement that we have to vote on this week. You know, it looks like we're going home at the end of this week. People can't wait anymore. We've lost 1 out of every 500 residents in New Jersey to COVID. We're 6,000 new cases a day. 30% of small businesses have already gone out. We've got to help people. And I think the pressure is on, as you've said, Becky, not just in Washington, but everyone's feeling it at home. And we've got to get this done. You look at our state and local governments, they're critically important. They're on the front lines now of getting this vaccine out. Now's not the time to leave them in the lurch. So this has to get done. We really have no choice. And I think our leadership recognizes that.
Congressman Reed, what kind of odds would you give this as something that will be done by the end of this week?
Well, I'll tell you, we have to. We've had over 30 plus Republican members sign on a letter that we worked with them on to say we're not leaving until we get COVID relief done. We have other measures that have to pass, the funding of the government, other issues that have to be resolved. And so this is kind of the final legislative vehicle before we go into the next year, the next Congress. So there's a multitude of issues that have to be resolved. And this is a prime opportunity to show the American people that we can govern again. And guys like us in the Problem Solvers Caucus with Josh and myself and the 50 members are just true patriots that want to put America first. We can compromise on liability and state and local, and then all the other additional relief that Josh has already articulated and laid out that the American people need today. Now is the time to respond and listen to the American people and get it done. That's what our job is to do. And now the leadership is in a position. We showed the path, finish it off, get it to the finish line. We laid the groundwork for you to get it done.
All right, so Representative Gottheimer, you guys have done the hard work, and if your leadership doesn't sign off and push this forward, what will you do?
Well, remember, as Tom just said, we have an ultimate end-of-the-year package to keep the lights of the government on, to make sure that which expires this week. So there is something we're all going to have to vote on. This has to be part of it. What we've made very clear to our leaderships and to everyone, and handing over what we think is a clear roadmap for emergency relief here, emergency COVID relief to get us into the new year, into the new administration, that this has to be part of it. And it doesn't have to be every single word that we hand them and that we've done in a bipartisan, bicameral way, but this is a clear roadmap for them, and it better reflect the values and priorities that we've put forward. And if that's the case, we'll be voting on it this week. If not, they're going to have a lot of members have to answer to, and frankly, the American people. That's why Tom said we're all about putting country first over party, and that's going to be our focus, Becky, and that's how we're going to get through this week.
So you heard them. They have to get it done this week. The government will shut down on Friday, and they need to pass a new government shutdown bill. They need to pass the stimulus. They're tied together. We've heard that from both sides. We also have those standalone bills from Senator Josh Hawley and Senator Bernie Sanders for $1,200 stimulus checks, which can also be an amendment onto this $900 billion bill, which we're expecting this $900 billion bill to have a $300 per week extension. Let me also show you something, unemployment extension. Let me also show you something interesting that might happen with this bill. So they didn't mention it in that interview, which is from this morning, which is interesting. But there's word on the street that the Problem Solvers Caucus bill, which is a bipartisan group, is going to be possibly announcing two different stimulus packages. One stimulus package for the $908 billion. We'll get all the details of that. The other one is going to be the same bill minus the $160 billion for states and cities and minus the liability protections, which the Republicans want. The Democrats want the state and city money. So that'll leave the bill around $750 billion. This would be two separate bills. So if that happens, we'll have the one bill, which has billions of dollars in it for rent assistance, which we'll walk you through on how to claim that, money for food, money for student loan debt forgiveness possibly, and $300 per week on unemployment extension. If they offer those two different bills, the $900 billion bill and the smaller bill, because would be a bill without the state and local cities, which they would have as a separate bill, state and local city money and liability protection, then they could pass that as a standalone bill. Those are the two things that they can't get the two sides to agree on. So they could basically take the main bulk of the package, pass that, or they can add that $1,200 stimulus check amendment onto that, which is interesting because then it goes down to $750 billion because that state and local city money isn't in there. If we add on to say $270 billion for the $1,200 stimulus checks, then we're right around $1 trillion. And that's a number that would fly. They only need 12 Republicans to pass that. So we're going to have a lot of information coming out here. My next video at 8 p.m. will probably detail all the details of this bill coming out. So make sure you don't miss that 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time video tonight. Also, I want to briefly recap some of the states and cities that we have covered already that have passing stimulus checks, stimulus checks for unemployed people, or rent assistance. There's all sorts of different packages. And let me go through some of them right now. Maine, $600. Colorado, $375. New Mexico, $1,200. North Carolina, $335. Minnesota, $500. And Austin, Texas, actually had two different ones for a 6-month rent assistance program where they would pay your rent for 6 months, and also for $2,000. But I believe both of those are expired now. Those are ones that we have previously covered, just some of them, because God, we have done so many. And there'll be more to come as states and cities are announcing all these different plans and rent assistance programs that some of this money needs to be spent by the end of the year. I will be bringing you more information about all these programs that are coming out every day. Some of them that they're talking about right now that are going on in their state legislators: Connecticut, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Rhode Island, and Pennsylvania are some of the ones that have stimulus money pending right now upon approval. We have seen the vast amounts of these ones that have gone through state legislators have been passed. It's been a very high number of that these states that have passed these stimulus checks and rent assistance. Rent assistance is great because a lot of times we've had viewers get $5,000 or more. We've had viewers get 3 or 4 or 5 months of rent assistance where they paid their rent for 5 months. It's been pretty awesome. And I will keep you updated on more of these packages that are coming out. If you know of any, comment them down below in the comments so our viewers can see it, and I just might feature you in an upcoming video. Don't forget to subscribe with the bell icon on. We're going to have a lot of news coming out this week regarding the stimulus package, the stimulus check, the shutdown, and the state and local programs that are passing stimulus. I will keep you updated, and share this video so others like you will know about these programs. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA, where I teach people how to do that, and you can replace your 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.